What is happening, Magnus sites? So, continuing to follow this wild world news with Alec Baldwin and a sad story. But we've gotten new details here from the crew of Rust, which was the name of the movie that he was working on. And it says here with the LA Times that the Rust crew describes on-set gun safety issues and misfires days before fatal shooting. Hours before actor Alec Baldwin fatally shot a cinematographer on the New Mexico set of Rust with a prop gun, a half a dozen camera crew workers walked off the set to protest working conditions. Before I even get into that, I gotta tell you, I've been on the set of a couple of films, and I've seen a couple of situations where it's like, what? And been in a couple of situations where it's like, wait a minute, this is where they're putting us? This is seriously? So this doesn't sound like anything that would be... I mean, I was talking to an actor the other day, and he was telling me how he did a film in Alaska, and it was cold, and they had them in some shed with no heat, and I was just like, what? He's like, yeah, man, that's one of those things where you gotta, I'm like, man, I'm sorry. But anyway, I mean, I don't know what... I guess there's different operations out there, some probably treat actors and extras better than others. But I've been in a situation where I'm kind of like, what the hell? The camera operators and their assistants were frustrated by the conditions surrounding the low-budget film, including complaints about long hours, long commutes, and waiting for their paychecks, according to 3 people familiar with the matter who were not authorized to comment. Safety protocol standards in the industry, including gun inspections, were not strictly followed on the Rust set near Santa Fe. The sources said, they said at least one of the camera operators complained last weekend to a production manager about gun safety on sets. 3 crew members were present at the Bonanza Creek Ranch set on Saturday and said they were particularly concerned about 2 accidental prop gun discharges. Baldwin's stunt double accidentally fired 2 rounds Saturday after being told that the gun was cold. Then go for a weapon that doesn't have any ammunition, including blanks. 2 crew members who witnessed the episode told the Los Angeles Times. There should have been an investigation into what happened, a crew member said. There were no safety meetings. There was no assurance that it wouldn't happen again. All they wanted to do was rush. A colleague, was also alarmed by the prop gun misfire that he sent a text message to the unit production manager. We've now had 3 accidental discharges. This is super unsafe, according to a copy of the message received by the Times. This don't sound good at all. The safety of our cast and crew is our top priority of Rust Productions, and everyone associated with the company, Rust Movie Productions, said in a statement. Though we were not made aware of any official complaints concerning weapon or prop safety on set, we will be conducting an internal review of our procedures while production is shut down. We will continue to cooperate with the Santa Fe authorities in their investigation and offer mental health services to the cast and crew during this tragic time. The tragedy occurred Thursday afternoon during filming of a gunfight that began in a church that is part of the old western town at the ranch. Baldwin's character was supposed to back out of the church, according to the production notes obtained by the Times. It was the 12th day of the 21-day shoot. Cinematographer Halyna Hutchins was huddled around a monitor lining her up her next camera shot when she was accidentally killed by the prop gun fired by Baldwin. The actor was preparing to film a scene in which he pulls a gun out of a holster, according to a source close to the production. Crew members had already shouted "cold gun" on set. The filmmaking team was lining up its camera angles and had yet to retreat to the video village and an on-set area where the crew gathers to watch filming from a distance. Instead, the B camera operator was on a dolly with a monitor checking out the potential shots. Hutchins was also looking at the monitor from over the operator's shoulder, as was the movie's director, Joe Souza, who was crouching just behind her. Baldwin removed the gun from the holster once without incident, but the second time he did so, ammunition flew toward the trio, and it shot toward them. The projectile whizzed by the camera operator but penetrated Hutchins near her shoulder, then continued through to Souza. Hutchins immediately fell to the ground as crew members applied pressure to her wound in an attempt to stop the bleeding. Late Friday, the Associated Press reported that Baldwin was handed a loaded weapon by an assistant director who indicated it was safe to use in the moments before the actor fired it, according to court records. The assistant director did not know the prop gun was loaded with live rounds, according to search warrant filed in Santa Fe County Court. The person in charge of overseeing the gun props, known as the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, could not be reached for comment. The 24-year-old is the daughter of veteran armorer Thel Reed and had recently completed her film as the head armorer for the movie The Old Way with Clint Howard and Nicolas Cage. Earlier in the day, the camera crew arrived as expected at 6:30 a.m. and began gathering their gear and personal belongings to leave. One knowledgeable crew member told the Times labor trouble had been brewing for days on the dusty set of the Bonanza Creek Ranch near Santa Fe. Shooting began on October 6th, and members of the low-budget film said they had been promised the production would pay for their hotel and rooms in Santa Fe. But after filming began, the crews were told they instead would be required to make the 50-mile drive, from Albuquerque each day rather than stay overnight in nearby Santa Fe. The rankled crew members who worried that they might have an accident after spending 12 to 13 hours on set. Hutchins had been advocating for safer conditions for her team and was tearful when the camera crew left, said one crew member. She says she felt like I'm losing my best friends. As the camera crew members of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees spent about an hour assembling their gear at Bonanza Creek Ranch, several non-union crew members showed up to replace them. Two of the knowledgeable people said. One of the producers ordered the union members to leave the set and threatened to call security to remove them if they didn't leave it voluntarily. Man, corners were being cut, it says. Well, man, if all of this is true, this don't look good for them at all. This does not look good for them at all, man. Wow. Man. Well, let me know what y'all think about this. I don't see this going well if all this is true.